Alright, in this configuration video here, I'm going to configure 5 of these routers. Router 1 and router 2 is going to have their classic BGP configuration, while router 3, 4, and 5 is going to use the modular address family configuration. So router 1 is going to have a BGP neighbor with R2 and R3, and then R2 is going to form a neighbor with R1 and R4, and likewise R3 is going to connect to its directly connected routers with neighbors, and then the same for R4 and R5. So R1 and R2 is going to be in the same autonomous system as 65100, while R3, R4, and R5 is going to be in the autonomous system 65200. And in the BGP network, I'm only going to advertise the loopback 0 address for all of the routers into their BGP routing process. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and configure router 1 first. Login console, okay, and router BGP. Let's see, all the interfaces is configured already with their IP addresses. That's good to go. And let's see, here we go. Router BGP 65100. Neighbor, let's go ahead and form the neighbor to R2 first. So neighbor is going to be 10.100.12.2. Remote AS is going to be 65100. And then my other neighbor is going to be to R3. Neighbor 10.10.13.3. So here's the address for the R3, 10.10.13.3, and the address for R4 is 10.10.24.4, 24 being the connection between R2 and R4, and 13 being the connection between R1 and R3. Likewise, .34 is the connection between R3 and R4, and that's how the pattern works. So let's go ahead and do the connection between R1 and R3. 13.3 remote AS 65200, because R3 is in AS 200, so that's good to go. So it only has 2 neighbors, and I'll advertise the loopback 0. Network 1.1.1.0 2 mask 255.255.255.0. Alright, that's R1. Let's go ahead and do R2. R2 is going to go into neighbor with R1. Let's see the IP address real quick. Alright, so then go router BGP 65100. Neighbor 10.100.12.1. Remote AS is going to be the same IGP of 65100. Okay, and then my other neighbor is going to be R3. So that's going to be 10.10.24.4. Remote AS 65200. And you can see that the neighbor to R1 has came up already. Alright, and then I'm going to advertise the loopback 0 on R2. Network 2.2.2.0 5255.0. Okay, mask. I need the mask in there. Oops. Alright, there you go. Let's go ahead and do R3. So for R3, R4, and R5, I'm going to use the address family configuration on that. So for R1, let's go ahead and take a look at R1 real quick. Show IP BGP summary. Neighbor. Okay, I'll show IP BGP summary. Okay, so then I have a connection to R2 already there, and it's been up for 55 seconds, it looks like, while connection to R3 has not been fully established yet because I haven't configured R3. So let's configure R3. Okay. Router BGP 65 200 address family, IPv4, unicast. All right, neighbor. All right, let's go ahead and form a neighbor with R1. So neighbor is going to be 10.10.13.1. Remote AS is 65.100. All right, and then neighbor, I'm going to form a neighbor with R4 here. There we go. R1 is up. And then now let's go ahead and form a neighbor with R4. So neighbor is going to be 10.200 here. 10.200.34.4. Remote AS 65.200. Okay, and then also I need to form a neighbor with R5. Neighbor is 10.200.35.5. Remote AS is 65.200 as well. All right, and then network, advertising the loopback is going to be 3.3.3.0, 255 mask, 255.255.255.0. All right, so R3 is up. Let's see if we can see the route for 3.3.3.3. Show IP route BGP. There it is, 3.3.3.3, and I'm also seeing 2.2.2.2. So that's good to go there. R3 is configured. Show IP BGP summary. And I have my neighbor to R1, but nothing to R4 and R5 yet. So let's go ahead and configure R4. All right, that's configured there for the IP addresses. Let's configure the login console so we can see the neighbor come up. And then we say router BGP 65200, address family, IPv4, unicast. And then we say neighbor to R3. Let's do the neighbor to R2 first. So neighbor 10.10.24.2, 255.255.2. No. We say remote AS 65.100. And then neighbor to R3 10.200.34.3, remote AS 65.200, and then neighbor to R4, or I'm sorry, neighbor to R5, neighbor 10.200.45.5, remote AS 65.200. Okay, so let's see, R3 should have connection now to R4, so let's take a look. Let's do a refresh. There it is. That's good to go. R5 hasn't been configured yet. Let's take a look at R4. R4 has connections to neighborship to R2 and R3, but not R5. So let's do R5. This is the last one. Let's see. Did I advertise loopback? I didn't advertise the loopback 4.4.4. Did I show run pipe begin router? Yeah, I need to advertise the loopback. So config T, router BGP 65200, router BGP 65200, address family IPv4 unicast, network 4.4.4.0, 2 mask 255.255.255.0. All right, so R3 should see it now. Show IP route BGP. And there it is. Show IP route BGP. And there that is. And the same R1 should see also 4.4.4.0. Refresh. There it is. All right, last one, R5. R5, here we go. Show IP, INT brief. Okay, that looks good. And now I say config T, login console, so we can see the neighbor come up. And then router BGP 65200 address family IPv4 unicast routing. And then we say neighbor going to R3 is 10.200.35.3. Remote AS 65200 as well. Neighbor 10.200.45.4. Remote AS 65200. Alright, so we see connection to R3 is up, and we're waiting for connection to R4, and there it is. Show IP BGP summary, and we have it here. R3 and R4 is good to go. Let's see. Show run pipe begin router, and what is this network 1.1.1 about? I don't need this. Oh, this is that's right, this is R1. My bad. Let's take a look at show run pipe begin router. Did I advertise the loopback? Let's see here. I did not advertise the loopback. Let's go ahead and do that. Config T router BGP 65200 address family IPv4 unicast. IPv4 unicast network 5.5.5.0 2 mask 255.255.255.0 AND. All right, let's see if we can see the 5.5.5.0. There it is. Okay, so that's we are good to go there. All our neighbors are up. Show IP BGP summary. 3 and 4 is up. It's been up for over a minute. Do show IP BGP summary, and that's also been up. All of them, 2, 3, and 5. Show IP BGP summary. It's good to go there. Let's take a look at the routes. Show IP BGP topology star. What do we get here? All right, we're learning 1.1.1.0 by 2 paths. This is the best path. We're learning it through R1. Right, we're learning it through R1, direct connection, and it's an external route. External BGP is preferred over the 24.2 over this IGP route, IBGP route. All right, same thing for for 2.2.2.0. 2 paths available. The best path is through R1, right? Because R1 is eBGP is preferred. Okay, and then these are the connected ones, and this is R4 is also directly connected, and then R5 is also directly connected. All right, so that's internal because it's iBGP. So that's how you configure the BGP neighbors using classic BGP format, and then the modular address family BGP configuration. All right.